Good evening. My name is Harold Mendelson, and this is the second of two presentations, One Man's Journey Through the U.S. Post-World War II Economy. Particularly, this video will defend my opinions and as to the cause and the resolution of these recessions. During the several recessions I discussed on my previous videos, this paper and video provides the defense, including the documents I researched. To start out, the oil embargo of 1973, started by Iran and joined by the other OPEC nations, prevented any oil from OPEC members to enter the United States. This caused oil prices to leap as we had to find other sources, from $18 a barrel to over $100 a barrel before settling back down to $100 a barrel. This all took place during the last 6 months of 1973. It produced long gas lines and shortages in New York City, where I lived, as well as in many other cities around the United States. This led Nixon to employ work and salary restrictions, forcing companies to not give their employees raises and to restrict their promotions. The Fed's raising of interest rates led to stagflation. That's when the economy is flat and inflation is still rising. This basically stopped the economy growth and actually had it decline. And it took a long time before those interest rates had any impact on reducing inflation. The next recession was the 1979-1980 recession, resulting from the Fed refusing to stop increasing interest rates. The high inflation was attacked basically by causing a major downfall in the U.S. economy, a slowdown. Personally, this led to a financial crisis as I was waiting 6 months to get a VA approval for my mortgage. And during that period, interest rates rose from 6.5% to 13%. This caused a family crisis, as was one of the major reasons for my divorce from my first wife. The 1990-1991 savings and loan and Gulf War recession had only a minor impact on me. I had just graduated community college and started out my PC consulting business at GE plant in Washington, West Virginia. While on the job, volunteering, I helped create phone calls between servicemen in Iraq and other places in the Middle East and family members. The major impact was in the savings and loan banking segment of the economy. Real estate in Texas totally collapsed as the property values tanked. This was a major impact on the Texas economy and in other states where the majority of home loans were handled by S&L banks. The housing bubble of 2008 also had a major impact on housing and led to a banking crisis. It also caused the Fed to reduce interest rates, but it was too little too late. The damage had already been done. This recession was labeled the Great Recession. Some financial wizards came up with a new sort of device to invest in, and it's called mortgage-backed securities. They were rated AA, which is the highest they can be rated, when in fact, some of them, in fact, many of them were barely investment grade securities. It all depended on which slice or tranche of the bundle of mortgages that you ended up with. If if the tranche you picked had a lot of subprime mortgages, um, well, then you were out of luck. Many of them lost all of their value. As about this time is when the jumbo rates came into effect, and the people who had only been paying down the interest and getting none of the balance of the loans paid, um, basically just walked away. They allowed everything to default, and they didn't care. With all these loans, these houses were very difficult to sell. There was a long time involved, waiting to go through all the whole legal process of default, and then the market wasn't there. And when they did sell the homes, they sold them at a tremendous loss. This 18-month-long recession caused the GDP in the U.S. to shrink by 4.3% and unemployment to reach 10%. The only way out of this was when the government spent $5.1 trillion in stimulus spending to get the economy out of the doldrums. We're still paying off that 1.5 trillion, as we currently have a debt of $30 trillion. While the COVID-19 impact of the COVID-19 pandemic didn't have much of an economic impact on me, as I was retired, not searching for a job, and I had a steady flow of guaranteed income. It did have a major impact on individual businesses. Business owners in many companies were forced to close, and many of the closed businesses never opened again. I'm still trying to figure out what the term essential business is. It pains me that there were political operatives who used COVID-19 pandemic as a definite part of their election campaigns. There are still several of my doctors which still require masks while in their offices. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the GDP shrunk by 31.2% during the second quarter. That's amazing. These are the post-World War II recessions which had a major impact on me, and the research I conducted found the causes and restorations of the U.S. economy resulting in the ending of these recessions. Thank you and have a good night.